We saw a lot of changes with Hugh Freeze's coaching staff as he transitioned from who Harsin had on staff last season. And I don't want to focus on every single coach he hired. The main thing I want to look at is who does Hugh Freeze have on staff who was a former Auburn player? Because I think above everything else, that's the most interesting storyline with this coaching staff. And so when I'm going through and looking at each of these players, most recent one being Marcus Davis, I think this is just an interesting thing that Hugh Freeze has done and a very smart move on his part. So we had Marcus Davis. He was a former wide receiver for Auburn. He played from I think 2013 through like 2016, somewhere around there. He played in the national championship game against Florida State. He was the captain of the team in 2016. He was just a good wide receiver for Auburn during some difficult years, specifically looking at 2014 through 2016. And he did a good job, and it's good to have him back on staff. In the time he's been away from Auburn, he did come back and coach for Gus Malzahn. He was on the team as an offensive analyst, and I can't remember what his other position was, but he worked under Gus for 2 years before he went to go to some other schools. He went to Florida State, and then he ended up the wide receivers coach at Hawaii, and then this past season at Georgia Southern. But I just think from a recruiting standpoint, it's a really good look if you're able to bring back a well-liked player and now a well-liked coach like Marcus Davis. This is just a smart move by Hugh Freeze. But Marcus Davis is not the only former Auburn player on staff. We also have fan favorite Travon Reed. He was the director of football and player relations, and it looks like, and that's not an on-field position, but it looks like he's going to have the same or similar role under Coach Hugh Freeze. I never saw where that landed, but when he made the announcement he was staying, he still had that title, Director of Football and Player Relations. And Travon Reed, if you follow him on Twitter, he has a lot to do with our recruiting, and it's just good to have him back. And then we have two more guys who are former Auburn players who are on staff. We have, obviously, Cadillac Williams, former running back for Auburn, just a prolific runner. And just think about if you're a running back who is playing for a coach, how cool is it if you have a coach who not only played the position, but played the position at the school and on the team you're playing for? I think that means a lot to these players, and it means a lot that they're willing to come back, and not only just willing to come back, but like Coach Cadillac. Coach Cadillac loves the school, he loves the city, he loves the university, and loves this team. And I think the players sense that, they feel that, and they believe that, and that's incredibly important. So I think Cadillac is one of the biggest players, or not players, one of the biggest former players who is now a coach that Hugh Freeze kept on staff, and that was probably the smartest move he made overall. But the final player I want to mention, final former player who is on staff at Auburn, is Zach Etheridge. Zach Etheridge is one of the top recruiters on Auburn's staff, and it's good to have him back as the DB's coach. He's one, a phenomenal coach, but two, his recruiting is just top notch and someone that Auburn could not afford to lose. So overall, I've just been impressed with how Hugh Freeze has put this coaching staff together, but above that he's been able to get these former players who played at Auburn and either keep them on staff or bring them on staff. I just think that's incredibly smart on his part. It's helped with the transition of him coming to Auburn and being the head coach, and I think it's just going to pay dividends for him, for the other coaches, and for the team as a whole in the cohesiveness that we're seeing of this unit, of this team, for the players and for the coaches. That's all I've got in this one. Let me know what you think about Hugh Freeze's first coaching staff in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Hit like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.